Okay, good morning, friends. Today we would be dealing with environment, biodiversity, and climate change. Sixth lecture. Today would be the last lecture on fauna biodiversity, and you would so far what we have done. We have completed mammals, we have completed reptiles, we have completed birds. Today we would be done with the fish and the amphibians. So generally, when we study vertebrates, so animal kingdom as such, or has been divided into invertebrates and vertebrates. Vertebrates are those animals who have spinal cord and backbone. So all these things, mammals, birds, reptiles, or the fish that we'll study today, and just, or the fish that we will study today, or amphibians, they are vertebrates. So vertebrates are the important animal species that we want to cover. Now, today we want to start with fish. In fish, the first thing that we want to start with is the shark biodiversity in the country. Now, we're doing it because recently in December 2010, the IUCN's Shark Specialist Group in India, EEZ, conducted a study. Please note, IUCN's a specialist group on SARC specialist group in the India's exclusive economic zone. They conducted a study and they found that there are 170 species of sharks, rays, chimeras, etc. in India. Of these 170 species, 19 are critically endangered. So in India's exclusive economic zone, there are 19 species of shark or animals similar to sharks who are, it's audible, no, guys? Some people are sending messages related to, yeah, it's audible, it's audible. Okay, so I was saying that there are 170 species, 170 extant species in India's exclusive economic zone of various shark and shark type fish. Of that, 19, that is 11%, are critically endangered. In fact, of these 19 species, there are 7 species of shark, 5 species of guitar fish, and so on. We do not have to remember this number, just knowing the broad thing that 11% of them are critically endangered is good enough. In fact, another 30 of them, that is around 18%, are endangered. There are vulnerable species, 38 are vulnerable, 23 are least concerned, and 20 are data deficient, with 13 unevaluated. But these numbers are not important. What is important is number of critically endangered and number of endangered species. They are increasing in number. For example, you would see that in 2014, when this kind of analysis was done, only 3% of the species were critically endangered. Now what has happened? 11% have become critically endangered. In the 2020 study, 11% have become critically endangered. Similarly, in 2014, 5% of species were endangered, but this number has increased to 18%. So the study basically tells us that shark and shark-like species in India's exclusive economic zones are facing more and more problems. And one of the reasons for this is target fishing. Target fishing, where a particular species is being targeted. Sharks, in case of illegal fishing, sharks are demanded a lot because their fins are demand in Asian countries. Other than that, sometimes they also are caught because of this bycatch thing, and thus because of this bycatch, the fish farmers or the fishermen have gone for normal fishing, and in bycatch they end up catching these fish. Okay, so this was the study that was published recently by IUCN's SARC Specialist Group in Indian Exclusive Economic Zone. Broadly, we have to understand which are that there is a deteriorating circumstance. Number of shark species which are critically endangered, which are endangered, they have gone up. Now we'll talk about, in general, about sharks. So You must be knowing that fish is one of the vertebrates, but it's one of the vertebrates that is completely aquatic. You would not find a fish species which is living on land. You may find amphibians which are living on land as well as in water, but fish are completely aquatic. These are cold-blooded animals. Some fish species have bone skeleton, but there are some fish species, including shark, which are characterized by cartilaginous skeleton. They don't, this skeleton is not bone skeleton, they're cartilaginous skeleton. They have 5 to 7 gill slits on the side of their head. If you have watched some videos related to sharks on YouTube, aaj bhi jaiye, you watch videos related to sharks on YouTube, you'll see that on both sides of their heads, there would be, it would appear as if there are cut marks there. Those are basically the 5 to 7 gills which are there on the side of the head. Then uh, sharks, a fish type, vary a lot in size. The smallest one can be as small as 17 centimeters. For example, the dwarf lantern shark. It is, its size is only 17 centimeters. But as you go to larger and larger size, the largest fish species on earth is the whale shark, which is also a shark and which can go up to 12 meters in length. So from 17 centimeters to 12 meters. Sharks are there everywhere. And why am I saying whale shark is the largest fish? Please note, please remember, blue whale, which is the largest animal on earth, is not a fish, it's a mammal. And that's why this shark, whale shark, is the largest fish in the world. Now, they generally don't live in fresh water, but there are some species which are purely fresh water. There are some species which partially live in fresh water, partially in saline water. But generally, most of the sharks are found in oceans. Now, they're also characterized by what is known as dermal denticles. Dermal denticles are basically a scale type of thing on their skin, which protects them from parasites, which helps in improving fluid dynamics and so on. So this is another characteristic. Dermal denticles is another characteristic of shark. Now, India is the second largest shark fishing country in the world. Shark meat is not that popular in India, but it's in demand a lot in foreign countries. Then fins, shark fins are in demand a lot in Asian countries, and for all these reasons, shark become one of the or this India becomes one of the largest shark fishing country in the world. Now, if we do overfishing of shark, we have to understand the sharks for oceans are as important as tigers or leopards for forests. They are top predators. If you remove tigers, the population, herbivorous population goes up, increases a lot. They'll destroy the grassland, they'll destroy the plant, and the whole ecosystem collapses. Same is the case with sharks. Sharks are also top predators. If you remove them from the ecosystem would collapse. That's why sharks are very important. That's why we have to prevent this, they becoming critically endangered or they becoming extinct. They're as good, as important as tigers, as important as lions. And that's why we are taking this special section, especially on sharks. So they're top predators and thus are very important. And if the ocean ecosystem collapses because of absence of sharks, our economy would also suffer because a lot of fishermen depend on fishing. But अगर shark खत्म होते हैं तो बाकी fish भी problems face करेंगे, as was the case with forest ecosystem in the absence of tigers. So it will not be bad for the ecosystem there, but it will also be bad for our economy. Now, over the years, we have taken a number of steps to protect sharks. For example, in 2013, Government of India, Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change, it banned removal of shark fins on board a vessel. Removal of shark fins on board a vessel. Now, why would this be done? See, because fins are something that are in demand more. Because fins are something that are also very small in size. So what fishermen used to do, who are illegally fishing, they'll catch the shark, they'll remove the fin, and then throw back the shark in ocean. Shark would die, it would not serve any purpose, but they have got the fin. So in 2013, first thing we did was, let's prohibit removal of shark fins. Fishing of shark was allowed, but removal of shark fins on board was not allowed. So that those people who were only going for fins, they would not end up killing a lot of shark. Who were fishing shark, that was okay. That was fine. Then under sites, you would see that shark is listed. 5 of Indian shark species are listed, and listed, and 2 of the species of Mantra ray are listed. Then finally, in the Commerce Ministry has prohibited the export and import of shark fins. Now, please understand this. Earlier order, 2013 order, it said that you will not remove the shark fin on this thing. You will not remove the shark fin where? You will not remove the shark fin on the boats. But when you catch a shark and when you get it to the harbor, then you can remove the shark fins. Government prohibited this. Government said no. Ministry of Commerce said no. Fins का export ही ban कर दिया. Commerce Ministry has prohibited the export and import of fins altogether. Now, other than these general things, like we have marine protected areas where fishing is not allowed. We have some shark which have been given very high protection. For example, Wildlife Protection Act में Schedule 1 Part 2A. It is one of the most protected section of Wildlife Protection Act. उसमें whale shark, long nosed shark, Pondicherry shark, gangetic shark, spear tooth shark. We'll see that most of these sharks are either critically endangered or endangered. They have all been put under Schedule 1 of Wildlife Protection Act. Similarly, whale shark is also listed in Schedule 2 of CITES. So all these things, all these are steps which have been taken to protect shark species in the country. Now, in spite of all this, sharks are very vulnerable. They are vulnerable. One major reason for this is their reproductive cycle. Unlike other fish, sharks are slow in growth and reproduction. And thus, if you remove the population of shark, you will not see that they'll quickly multiply, as is the case with other fish. And this is generally the trend with most of the top predators. They generally don't multiply that easily, that quickly. Then there are exploitations which are happening. Generally, farmers or the fishermen end up catching even the critically endangered shark when they are going for shark hunting or fishing. Pollution, accidental entanglement of sharks in the fishing net, poor research on various type of sharks which are available in the country or in the exclusive economic zone, how they're performing and all, and misidentification of a critically endangered protected shark from non-critically endangered or non-protected shark is also becoming a problem. So for all these reasons, sharks are facing one or the other issue. In fact, of the steps that have been taken for shark protection, one of the steps, Whale Shark Conservation Project, is specifically very important because it has been successful. The Whale Shark Conservation Project was started in Gujarat. In Gujarat, earlier, fishermen there were catching whale shark, were consuming its meat, were selling its meat, and so on. But under the initiative of Wildlife Trust of India, under Whale Shark Conservation Project, communities were engaged and they were made aware of the significance of whale shark. So, from being hunters or enemies of whale shark, people who were catching whale shark, they are now protectors of thousands of whale shark which are there. So they have been able to identify, okay, these are whale sharks, these have to be protected, and accordingly, protection is also happening. Okay, so this particular whale shark conservation project is specifically a bit more important, and we must be aware of this. Okay, now I'll take doubts before I jump on to critically endangered fish species. And I see Sanjeev Yadav has raised hand. Sanjeev ji, बताइए क्या पूछना
गुड
चाहते हैं?
मॉर्निंग गुड मॉर्निंग सर।
गुड मॉर्निंग संजीव।
सर शार्क फिन्स क्या होता है मतलब?
अरे शार्क फिन्स क्या होते हैं? वो इट्स अ बॉडी पार्ट ऑन शार्क व्हिच हेल्प्स इन इट्स मूवमेंट एंड ऑल। इसका ना मेडिसिनल यूज है एशिया में, चाइना वगैरह में, तो वहां डिमांड में बहुत होता है। तो एक बार देखो वो बॉडी पार्ट आपको स्पेसिफिकली दी जाए, एक बार गूगल करो, यू विल बी एबल टू एग्जैक्टली आइडेंटिफाई व्हाट आई एम टॉकिंग अबाउट।
ओके सर, थैंक यू
Okay,
सर।
okay, Sanjeev. Anything else, guys? Any other doubts before I move on to the critically endangered fish? No. Okay, okay. Bhavani is typing shark के ऊपर का नुकीला part. Yes, Bhavani, that's what I was trying to say. Shark के ऊपर का नुकीला part, shark fin. What are the use of fins? अरे ऐसे समझो ना यार, जैसे राइनो के जो दांत होते हैं, सींग होते हैं, जो भी बोलो आप उसे, उसका ऐसा कोई यूज नहीं है, बट पीपल यूज इट फॉर मेडिसिनल पर्पसेस एंड ऑल दोस थिंग्स. In the same way, it's also in demand in Asian countries for these reasons. Sir, please explain the last point of steps taken to conserve various sharks. देखो, steps taken to conserve various last point. This one, misidentification is making the law ineffective. See, generally, a protected shark is misidentified with a non-protected one. So farmers actually end up catching them, even if they are protected. So we have Wildlife Protection Act, which have protected a number of shark species, but still that law is not effective because people are not able to differentiate between protected and unprotected shark. Okay, I hope you have understood. Ritu had asked this question. Chalo. Then we will move on to critically endangered species in India. Critically endangered fish species in India. There are some shark species in it, there are some non-shark species in it. But please note that this year there are 3-4 more species which were added in the critically endangered list. From endangered, it moved to critically endangered. Therefore, this list you would not find anywhere. Most of the sources, most of the books, most of the current affairs material also have not included these 3-4 extra fish species which we were not covering till last year in the list of critically endangered species. So go through it a bit carefully. ये जो शुरू के 2-3 species हैं, because it has just become critically endangered recently, इन्हें याद रखने की भी कोशिश करो, इन्हें टिप्स पे भी रखने की कोशिश करो. Okay, first is Indian swell shark. Capellos, I do not want to get into the scientific name. Indian swell shark. This is a deep water cat shark which is found in Andaman and Nicobar Islands, Kerala, Sri Lanka, and the Kollam coast. These are the only places from which it is found. They are facing threats because their geographical distribution is very limited. One reason you would see Andaman Nicobar, India ke kuch regions. Most of the sharks would be found throughout the world ocean, generally well distributed होंगे, but their geographical distribution is very limited, and therefore they are critically endangered. Generally, when we go for deep water trawling, they are found at they are deep water cat shark. So when we go for deep water trawling, they are accidental catch and they are misidentified and thus caught also. Then we have scalloped hammerhead shark. Now, this shark is called hammerhead because of this. The most characteristic feature of this shark, their hammer-shaped head. This is also a critically endangered species which was added in the list very recently in December. The species was moved by IUCN, moved the species from endangered to critically endangered in December only. It lives in warm, temperate, and tropical coastal waters all around the globe. but still its numbers are going down, so they are critically endangered. Scallop, hammerhead, another shark species which is critically endangered. Then we have oceanic white-tipped shark. White-tipped, इसका ये कलर देखोगे आप थोड़ा सा, this tip is white on the lower side. This shark species was also moved from endangered to critically endangered very recently in December. This is also found in tropical and subtropical waters throughout the world. So its distribution is good, but its numbers are going down because of accidental hunting and so on, and therefore they're also critically endangered. This also happened in December. So we have to know this also. Now, other species. This I've been covering every year. Fish species which are critically endangered and which are important for us. One of them is Pondicherry shark. Pondicherry shark is found throughout Indo-Pacific coastal waters to Gulf of Oman. But ये मिलते नहीं है, दिखते नहीं है बहुत easily. In fact, it's very rare. Very few people have actually seen them because their numbers have reduced so much. Whenever this sighting happens, it comes in news because it becomes so important. So in Godavari River estuarine ecosystem, it was seen in 2007, then in 16 and 18. This is a news. It was seen once. It will tell you how rare this shark is. In Andhra coastal region, it is called Palasora, and it's also protected under Schedule 1 of Wildlife Protection Act. Okay, then we have Ganges shark. Now, see, when we were studying about shark, we were saying that most of the sharks are marine water shark, but this is a freshwater shark. In fact, this is amongst the very few true river sharks. True river sharks, matlab true freshwater sharks. Because most other sharks, even if they're found in freshwater, they would move to ocean for perhaps reproduction or for other reasons. But this is a shark which is truly fresh water. This is the true river shark. So naam bata raha hai, Ganges shark. It's found in Ganga River. It's also found in Brahmaputra River. And its structure, sorry, its small eyes and the shape of the mouth tells us that it has learned or it has evolved to survive in turbid waters. गंगा रिवर में वाटर टर्बिड होगा, वाटर थोड़ा वो धुंधला सा होगा. Rivers में this is the condition, and to catch fish. It has evolved to do that. Now, an interesting thing happened very recently. We have said that this shark species only found in Ganga and Brahmaputra, right? But what interesting thing happened? Recently, genetical studies of Borneo river shark and Irrawaddy river shark. These were considered two separate species, two different species earlier. Borneo river shark and Irrawaddy river shark. Genetic analysis has showed that these are actually gangetic sharks. These are not separate species. These are the same species. So, geographical range of sharks, of gangetic sharks, has expanded now. Now they're found in Ganga, Brahmaputra mein to mil hi rahe the. They're also found in Pakistan, Myanmar, Borneo, and Java because these sharks, Borneo river shark and Irrawaddy river shark, are also gangetic sharks. Fine. I hope again you are able to understand this. Now let's go to humpback mahseer, another fish species which is critically endangered. Now see, look at this humpback mahseer, the size. It's a very large size river animal. Very large size river fish, which is only found in Kaveri river basin. So Kerala ke Pamban, Kabini, Bhavani rivers में भी मिलता है. This species was very rare and was already known, but it was not included in IUCN's critically endangered list because it did not have a scientific name. So first in 2018-19, it was given a scientific name, Tor Ramadevi. Once it was given a scientific name, because its numbers are so less, IUCN included it in the critically endangered list. So Tor Ramadevi or the humpbacked mahseer, another critically endangered uh, fish species that we should know about. Then there are two more fish species: large tooth sawfish fresh or freshwater sawfish and green sawfish. Sawfish, इनका जो they are very adapted for catching fish. Their front of their mouth looks like a saw, and that's why they are called sawfish. So this large tooth sawfish and green sawfish or long-form sawfish are two more critically endangered species of fish in India that you must be aware of. Large tooth sawfish, they are distributed in the Indo-Pacific, western part of Indo-Pacific. So Indo-Pacific, you know, अफ्रीका के ईस्टर्न पार्ट से ऑस्ट्रेलिया के आसपास तक जा रहा है, यूएस के आसपास तक जा रहा है, तो दैट इज इंडो पैसिफिक. उसके वेस्टर्न पार्ट तो ईस्ट अफ्रीका, न्यू गिनी, फिलीपींस, वियतनाम टू ऑस्ट्रेलिया. इंडो पैसिफिक का ईस्टर्न पार्ट कहां होगा? इंडो पैसिफिक का ईस्टर्न पार्ट वुड बी द साउथ अमेरिका, नॉर्थ अमेरिका का वेस्ट कोस्ट. दैट विल बी ईस्टर्न पार्ट ऑफ इंडो पैसिफिक. इंडो पैसिफिक का वेस्टर्न पार्ट जो अफ्रीका इंडिया वाला पार्ट है, तो इट इज फाउंड देयर. In India, it is known to enter Mahanadi River and estuaries of Ganga and Brahmaputra, and sometimes is seen there. Critically endangered है, Schedule 1 में है Wildlife Protection Act में. Then green sawfish का भी थोड़ा सा similar सा scenario है. It is found in Indo-West Pacific Ocean from Red Sea, East Africa to Papua New Guinea, north to South China and south to New South Wales. इसका भी कुछ वैसा ही सीन है critically endangered Wildlife Protection Act में Schedule 1 to 8 section. Okay, so these were the critically endangered fish species that you must know about. There are more critically endangered fish species. Please note, I have already said that when we look at only shark species, there are 19 such shark species, rays and all those things. There are 19 such species only in India's exclusive economic zone, which are critically endangered. But it's not possible for us कि हम सारी चीजें रटे. These are the most important ones that we must know about. We must try to remember them. Again, एकदम रट नहीं पाओगे तब भी it's okay. Try to remember them. Try to read this 2-3 times so that you'll have an idea that these are the things which are critically endangered. Now, let me look at the endangered species. Let me move on to endangered species. In endangered fish species, the first fish species that we want to cover is whale shark. You already know some things about whale shark. Whale shark is the largest fish species that we know. As I said, blue whale is not actually a fish; it's a animal. It's a mammal. So it's not included in the list of fish species. Whale shark is the largest fish species. It remains in news because it's endangered, it's protected, and whenever it's caught illegally or accidentally, news में आएगा. For example, you would see in 2000 at least 4 whale sharks died on the Odisha coast. Abhi, in February 2021, whale shark was caught in fishing net on Odisha, but was released back in the ocean. So whale shark, largest known fish species. It is also the largest non-mammalian vertebrate. Vertebrates में क्या आते हैं? Mammals, birds, reptiles, fish, and amphibians. So if you remove mammals, it is not only the largest fish, but after mammal, this is the largest animal known to us, known to humans. Now, another important feature about the whale shark are these white dots which are found throughout its body. It is its identifying thing, and therefore whale sharks generally, even if accidentally caught, people get to know this is whale shark. It's easy to differentiate this whale shark from other types of shark. It feeds on planktons, phytoplanktons and all, but it also consumes shrimp, algae, other sardines, anchovies, mackerels, all other types of fish, squids, etc. So plankton algae खा रहा है, but it's more a meat lover. So omnivorous. Now, where is it found? It's found throughout the world, all tropical and warm temperate seas. Mein, this throughout the equator or tropical region, it will be found. In India, Saurashtra and Kutch are important region. That's why, if you remember, जब हम शार्क पढ़ रहे थे, initiative का बात किया, where people in Gujarat were made, communities in Gujarat were made aware of these shark species. Idea was that they understand about whale shark and thus do not hunt them, do not catch them. Lakshadweep में भी मिल रहा है, but as you saw by news, on Odisha coast, a lot of them gets washed off. A lot of them get accidentally caught, so they are found tropical, subtropical waters में कहीं भी मिल सकते हैं. They are endangered and they are in Schedule 1. Then there is spear-toothed sharks. Spear-toothed sharks are very rarely found in India or in India's exclusive economic zone. They are mostly distributed in New Guinea, Australia, New Guinea wala region में. They're endangered and they're also in Schedule 1 of Wildlife Protection Act. Then we have knife-toothed sawfish, another endangered species. बहुत डिटेल में नहीं जाना, बस know that knife-toothed sawfish is one of the endangered species. And then we have humphead race, WRASS, humphead race, a species which is endangered. Now, this is specifically important because this fish species is the largest fish species which is found in corals. In coral reefs, generally, small animals are the ones which survive. But this is the largest fish species which is found in coral reefs. Vaishnavi is asking, sir, Schedule 2 is more protected than Schedule 1? No, beta, Schedule 1 is more protected. Schedule 1 is more protected. Who said Schedule 2 is more protected? Schedule 1 of Wildlife Protection Act is more protected. Coming back to this, humphead race. This is a fish species which is endangered and is the largest fish species which is found in coral reefs. Males here can reach up to 2 meters, 2 meters लगभग 6-7 feet. That is most of the humans से ज़्यादा length होगी उनकी, and weigh up to 180 kg. So it's mainly found in Indo-Pacific region, and destruction of coral reef is becoming a threat for this particular species. Okay, so these were the critically endangered and endangered species. Let me see your hands. Please raise your hands अगर कोई doubt है. Else I'll move on to the newly discovered fish species which are there. HP is typing, sir, do we have to remember the scientific names? No, you do not have to. शायद Tor Ramadevi का remember it. Tor Ramadevi is something that if you know would be good. Otherwise, सबका नहीं याद रखना है. Okay, no doubt. See, again, today is the last class. So tomorrow when we'll cover plant species, it would be the last class of factual things. But क्या करें, हमें factual things cover करना पड़ेगा in order to ensure that we are best prepared for the examination, right? So ये boring classes are going to get over from next Saturday. Next Saturday से in environment, biodiversity and climate change, we'll be talking about laws, programs and all those stuff. So, but we have to cover these things. Cover it carefully, cover it like properly. This will give you this confidence. See, you are better prepared than anyone else. I'm assuring you this. No one would cover fish species like this. No one would cover these animal species like this. आप biodiversity का material देखेंगे, किसी book में भी देखेंगे, current affairs material भी देखेंगे, you would not have this kind of coverage. This is to ensure that you do not have to go through 100 different sources. You only are focusing on things which are there in your notes. कुछ update होगा. If there is something missing, if you feel that there is something missing, message me. I'll ensure that I include those things in your notes. You do not do a lot of research on these factual things. Spend your time on your optional subjects. Spend on your time on the fundamentals of the subjects in GS and all. Do not spend a lot of time in doing unnecessary research in current affairs. See, my personal experience is like I was someone who used to do a lot of research, and फिर मैं एक दिन में ना, when I was a student, I used to cover one topic. आज मैं इंडिया यूएस के बहुत जबरदस्त नोट्स बनाऊंगा. इंडिया यूएस के लिए मैं 3 दिन लगा दूंगा, but that will not be good enough for my preparation. No, if I'm taking 3 days for preparing notes of India US, I'll be taking 30 days for India international relations, bilateral relations of India. I'll take 6 months for only GS2. That's not suitable. And most of the time, the mistakes that students make is in current affairs, there's no end. They'll keep doing more and more research to understand each and everything, and they'll end up wasting time. Do not do that. Let that be my responsibility. हम जितनी जरूरत है उससे एक स्टेप आगे रहेंगे. You be confident कि कुछ नहीं छूटेगा, and you study properly. Okay, come back to the newly discovered fish species. These are fish species which were discovered recently in 2019, 20, or 21. One is Puntius sanctus. Look at this fish. So it was known among locals earlier, but it was scientifically identified recently in May 2020. It was in news. So it was found in Vellankanni in Tamil Nadu and was added in this family, Cyprinidae family, Puntius sanctus. Let's know some more things about it. It is silver hued and can grow up to 7 centimeter, and thus is found is important for food also. Good enough size bhi hai, but is also important for aquariums because silver colored attracts, and thus they're also known in aquariums. Now, discovery of this new fish species in our inland waters indicate that forget ocean, even our inland waters are not completely explored. There are lots of animals, plants there which needs to be discovered, which are there, which we haven't identified. So this is Puntius sanctus found in Vellankanni in Tamil Nadu. Then we have Wycomia hira, this fish, Wycomia hira. Now, this new fish species was found in Western Ghats. This has been named Wycomia after a professor from Manipur University, Vaikom Vishwanath. This guy, Vaikom Vishwanath, has done commendable job in fish studies in the country, and thus it has been named after him. Basitna. Wycomia hira. See, you may be asked a question, Wycomia hira was in news recently. What is it? Or a new fish species, Wycomia hira, was found recently in which of the following areas? I remember in 2016 they had asked a question on this banana species was found where. So if those kind of questions are asked, Wycomia hira was found in Western Ghats and has been named after Professor Vaikom Vishwanathan. Then we have dragon snakeheads. Now this is very important. This is one of the most important discovery in fisheries or in the fish studies in perhaps the whole decade. पिछले 10 साल में सबसे important discovery है, because here we are not talking about a species being discovered, a genus being discovered. We are saying that a new family of fish have been discovered. Dragon snakeheads. Dragon snakehead is a new family, a family of fish species. Getting my point? Dragon snakehead is a family of fish. Family के नीचे आता है genus, genus के नीचे आता है species. So far we were talking about ये species discover हुआ, ये species discover हुआ. But here we are saying a new family has been discovered. Where? In the underground waters in South India. Western Ghats में जाओगे, underground waters, not in rivers, not in lakes, but in underground waters. That's why see the background of this fish. They've kept it black because darkness, underground water, underground there is no light available. So it's dark. This fish has evolved to survive in dark in underground water. This family is also known as living fossil because they have a lot of primary features from which fish has evolved. Different fish species have evolved. वेस्टर्न घाट्स में मिल रहा है and two species of this family is known so far. One is golem snakehead, and other is Mahabali snakehead. So the family's name is dragon snakeheads. उसके जो दो स्पीसीज अभी तक डिस्कवर हुए हैं, those are golem snakeheads and Mahabali snakehead. Golem, do you know golem? Golem was this. Have you watched Lord of the Rings? Lord of the Rings में वो my precious golem, वो रिंग को लेके कहीं छिप गया था बहुत सालों तक. रिंग की वजह से he survived, but he was not able to like he lived in the underground region and thus his body features were like that. So golem snakehead and Mahabali snakehead are two fish species of this family, dragon snakeheads, which was discovered recently. This show a lot of primary features like जो मॉडर्न स्नेक्स है, जो नए स्नेक्स है, जो इवॉल्व स्नेक्स हैं, वैसे फीचर्स नहीं है. इट हैज लॉन्ग बॉडी पार्ट्स, थोड़ा सा इनका मूवमेंट इज ऑल्सो like a snake and all. So they are a bit different from the most evolved fish species. Now, let's come to other important fish species. Now, these are fish species which were in news, not newly discovered. Please understand. इससे पहले जो हमने डिस्कस किया, those were discovered for the first time. These fish species were there in news. First is Hilsa or Ilish. Hilsa or Ilish comes in news every time around September, October, around Dashera, around the Durga Puja festival, because Bangladesh allows exports of Hilsa to India at this time. So see, we'll come to this. But first of all, we all know Hilsa. Hilsa is one of the most favorite fish for Bengalis. Ilish, its Bengali name is Ilish. I remember when I was in Hyderabad, I had a friend, Ayan Banerjee. He would try every Saturday or Sunday, he would take me to a local place, Kolkata House there, where we would eat what is known as Ilish Paturi. Ilish fish prepared like it was covered in paturi patta leaves, and it would be cooked with steam. So I still remember that fragrance and all. Ilish was that good. In fact, let's have in lunch fish today. Let's have fish. So Ilish was like, he liked Ilish so much. Ilish is one of the most, perhaps the most important fish for Bengalis in Bengali culture for food purposes. So it's known as Hilsa. Now, this fish is national fish of Bangladesh. This fish is also state fish in West Bengal and Tripura. This will roughly tell you how significant this particular fish species is. Now, over the years, because it's in demand a lot, their catch has decreased in India. Their catch has also decreased in Bangladesh. In Bangladesh, Hilsa plays a very important role. In fact, 11% of all the fish that is produced in Bangladesh is Hilsa. This fish alone contributes to 1% of Bangladesh GDP. Then 75% of the world Hilsa production is from Bangladesh. Now, because of its overexploitation, because of reduction in population of Hilsa, Bangladesh in 2012 had banned export of Hilsa. But generally, every year during Durga Puja, it provides concession for India. During Durga Puja, if you have been to Durga Puja pandals and all, you would see that fish dish is a very common thing that we get there. So during Durga Puja, Hilsa is in demand a lot, and as a concession for India, Bangladesh every year allows this extent. Now, and therefore, this year also in September 2020, it was in news that Bangladesh will export 1475 tons of Hilsa to India during Durga Puja. So Hilsa fish ke baare mein. Now see, it is not critical. It's so large, they're available so well that they are not critically endangered or vulnerable. The least concern. They're eaten so much, they're consumed so much. But you must know about Hilsa, you must know about Ilish. And for those of you who are Bengalis, I may be pronouncing this incorrectly. I'm sorry for that. Mujhe मारने बताना. Okay. Then we have Scorpinosis neglecta, or band-tailed scorpion fish. Look at this fish species. Beautiful color. Beautiful color. Plus, it has a band tail. Tail, इसपे bands बने हैं. And it's also called scorpion fish because ये भी आपको डंक मारेगा जैसे बिच्छू डंक मारता है. It contains venom. Generally, what the hell? Just 1 second, guys. Wait. So, this is a fish species which produces stinging venom, and if you catch it, it will release that venom in your body. Now, this scorpion fish is very clearly visible, very clearly understandable, but it was not found in Indian waters. For the first time in May 2020, it has been discovered in Indian waters. That is in Gulf of Mannar. It was found, and that is why it was in news. Okay, then we have Indian oil sardine. अभी ये January 2021 में न्यूज था. This is a very common fish. अगर आप इंडिया में फिश कंज्यूम करते हो, तो two of the commercially most important fish are mackerels and this sardines. These two fish are the most important. So because they are commercially so important, their numbers were reducing over the years. But a recent study by CMF RI shows that the population of this fish is again reviving, and that's why it was in news. So इंडिया के दो इंपॉर्टेंट कमर्शियल फिशेस को आप देखेंगे तो मैकरेल के बाद ये इंडियन ऑयल सार्डिन ही आता है. And perhaps if you are a fish eater, you must have consumed this fish. Three spine stickleback, another fish species that was in news. Abhi May 2021. Three spine stickleback. Now, this is a very interesting fish. Interesting in the sense, this is a fish which is used by, sorry, rather than saying which is used by, I should say which is used on which a lot of R&D is happening. Scientists are conducting a lot of research and development in this on this particular fish species, three spine stickleback. Now, why are scientists doing this? It's because they show great morphological variations. This fish species In one region will be of a particular size, in other region will be of a different size. In one region it will have smaller teeth, in other region it will have larger teeth. So there's a lot of morphological variation, and thus a lot of evolution. It is evolving very fast. Scientists say that it's evolving very fast. The species has morphological variation with geographical variation. Thus, it is able to evolve very quickly. It's also what is known as anadromes. They live in seawater and can breed in fresh or brackish, and do breed in fresh and brackish water. Their uh, acceptability of changing salinity is so high that change in salinity perhaps doesn't threaten their existence. They display very elaborate breeding behaviors. They will defend their territory, they will build their nest, they'll take care of eggs. Uh, there are different kinds of behavioral tendencies that they'll show. They can also be social. That is, they moving around in groups, living in groups. So all these features are there in this particular fish. So scientists say that with climate change, a recent study by McGill University says that climate change इसका कुछ बिगाड़ नहीं पाएगा, because it is evolving so easily, it is evolving so quickly. What it will do is, with change in climate, it would change. It will evolve to survive in a bit warm water. It will evolve to survive in a bit more saline water, a bit less saline water. So this is a fish species that will be able to adapt easily to changing climatic conditions due to global warming, because it has all these evolutionary, like it gets evolved very easily, it gets evolved very quickly. For this reason, in May 2021, a study was there in Down to Earth, which was reported in Down to Earth. I had taken this news from Down to Earth, which is talking about the stickleback. Now, this is not found in India. You would see it is native to most inland and coastal waters north of 30 degree. So generally India जैसे India में नहीं मिल रहा है, but it was important for our studies. Now, invasive fish species. Invasive. So if you remember our previous classes, our very first class, we had talked about what are invasive species. Invasive species, you become invasive in 3 steps. One, you're an alien. A local species would never be invasive. You are an alien exotic species. Second, you have become naturalized. That is, you are comfortable with this nature, with this region. You can reproduce and survive here easily. And then third, you are consuming resources so much that you have become a threat for local species. Then you become an invasive species. So invasive में 3 चीजें. First, you should be an outsider. Second, you should have become naturalized. And third, you should have become a threat to local species. Please note that if you are not naturalized, you will not become a threat to local species, because if you are not naturalized, you will die here. If you are foreign species, if you are not foreign species, if you are local, then over the years, as in the period of evolution, you have survived in this region, and other species have also survived in this region. So you are not a threat as such. So you have to be an outsider. For example, हम एक snake की बात कर रहे थे, जो कि म्यांमार और इन region से has gone to America, Florida वाला region में, where it has become a threat. ऐसे there are some fish species which have become a threat. Those fish species include some of them. Sorry, there are many such fish species found in India. In fact, there are many alien species. Not all of them may be invasive, but according to a 2018 study, 14% of the fish which are found in India, freshwater, brackish, and marine fish which are found in India, are alien in nature. They are not original to India. They have been introduced in this area. Why alien species are on rise? Why the number of alien species are increasing? So एक है कि sometimes they are accidentally brought. They are brought to be kept in aquarium, but flood आएगा, जैसे केरला flood आया, किसी ने aquarium में रखा हुआ है, या किसी ने अपने backyard में कुछ fish पाल रखी है. In flood, it will get into the waters. That's one reason. With climate change, more and more fish which are alien in nature may be able to survive, may be able to survive. Then degrading quality of natural water bodies and rivers. In this degrading quality, the local species may not be able to survive, but some hardy species from other parts of the world may survive. And that is why we say that fish species, that is why we are saying, for all these reasons, we are saying that fish species, a number of alien fish species are coming to India, are becoming naturalized in India, and thus may become invasive to India. उसमें से दो तीन fish species हैं which were in news recently. One is sucker mouth catfish or Amazon sailfin catfish. Sucker mouth catfish or Amazon sailfin catfish. Now see, the name tells you Amazon sailfin catfish that it is a fish species which is what? It is a fish species which is from South America. Now this fish species was brought from South America. It has become naturalized in India, and now it is harming the local species, and thus it has become a problem. It was in news recently because in Banaras, in Ganga River, it was found. Varanasi, in Ganga River, it was found. Earlier, in 2020, it was also found in Manipur. Now, this is a species which is very, very dangerous for locals. In fact, for local biodiversity. In fact, since 2010, it has been found in Bihar, West Bengal, Tamil Nadu, Telangana, Andhra Pradesh, Manipur, and so on. और जहां जहां मिल रहा है, it's becoming a threat. Recently, there was a study कि Andhra Pradesh के एक lake में it was introduced by some unknown people, and in that lake it has wreaked havoc. It has become a big problem. So sucker mouth catfish, the invasive fish species that we are talking about. Now, you may have a question, sir, why this sucker mouth catfish is a problem? ज्यादा हो रहे हैं तो पकड़ो खाओ ना. We have protein deficiency in the country. Let's see. Even if it was eatable, first, it is not something that fishermen like and people who eat fish like, and thus is not in demand. It's not consumed. But even if it was eatable, we'll look at other African catfish which is eatable. Even then, it's harmful. Because other fish species would be destroyed, and in long term, the whole ecosystem would suffer. But this particular fish species is one, not consumable, but is also a hardy fish. Hardy fish matlab it can survive in very difficult circumstances, hypoxic circumstances, jahan pe oxygen has a lot of pollution has happened, biological oxygen demand and chemical oxygen demand of water is high. Thus, amount of oxygen that is left in the water is very less. Even in those situations, it will survive. Other fish species would suffer, but it will survive. It is an omnivorous feeder. So, इसे अगर दूसरे meat products नहीं मिलेंगे, it will survive on algae. It will survive on plant species. They have a very armored body. Armored body, तो इनको hunt करना आसान नहीं है. दूसरे fish cannot consume them, and their thick skin do not make them attractive for fish eaters. Like people like me who love eating fish, we would not like this fish. We would not consume this fish. They are very fit for aquariums. People like them in aquariums. Why would they like them in aquariums? If they have this fish in aquarium, and if this algae is formed on the wall, this fish will consume that algae, and thus will naturally clean the aquarium walls. And that's why it is preferred in aquarium but not in other places. So अब जब ये इंडिया के अलग अलग पार्ट से मिल रहा है, it is a cause of concern. There's another fish species which is critically endangered, that is African catfish. Now, African catfish, though it's critically endangered, I'm saying it wrong. It's not critically endangered, which is invasive. African catfish, though it is invasive, it is something that is eatable. So what has happened is a lot of people, African catfish in 2010 इसका farming ban कर दिया गया. Sorry, in 2000 its farming has been banned in the country. But even then, fish farmers illegally farm African catfish. And from there, at the time of flood and all, it gets into the natural water bodies, rivers and all, and it starts affecting the population, the biodiversity there. It is so dangerous. Like in Bharatpur Wildlife Sanctuary, in the lakes there, when African catfish had wrecked havoc, it has not only consumed all the resources and had not left anything for other fish, but जो birds होते हैं, उनके बच्चों को भी खा जाता है. It's very dangerous in that sense. So it was damaging biodiversity like anything, African catfish, but it is something that is eatable. So farmers intentionally farm them, which becomes a problem. Okay, so these were some invasive suckermouth catfish and African catfish species, which were invasive, which were in news recently. You must know the names of both these species, suckermouth catfish and African catfish. Now, any doubts? Anything? Mohit is saying yes, correctly pronounced. I'm pronouncing Hilsa correctly. Okay, thank you, Mohit. Then Ritu is asking, sir, what is meaning of fixing legal size? See, Rituji, what happens is when you are hunting shark, or when you are fishing shark, in that case, government says that do not fish the babies, do not fish the small shark, let them grow and all. So that is fixing the legal size. Below this, you're not allowed to fish. Okay, I hope Ritu, you're understanding this. Mohit, thank you very much. Now, there's a report which was published in February 2021, World's Forgotten Fishes. This report was published by 16 global conservation organizations. जिसमें WWF, World Wide Fund for Nature, was also there. Now, this report says that if we look at freshwater fish, this freshwater fish provides 20 million people with protein and 60 million across Asia, Africa, and South America with jobs. But a third of all freshwater fish are threatened with extinction. World's Forgotten Fishes report says that a third of all freshwater fish are threatened with extinction. And why are they threatened with extinction? Because there's a habitat degradation that's happening, because poorly planned dams are affecting their habitation, because a lot of pollution is happening, wastewater and drainage is being released in the water bodies, overfishing, pollution, introduction of invasive species, wildlife crime, climate change. All these factors are adding to, I'm sorry guys, all these factors are adding to the problems because of which one third of freshwater species are facing extinction. In fact, according to this report, population of migratory freshwater fish have fell by 76% since 1970, and mega fish, large fish, has fell by 94% since 1970. 80 freshwater species, not 80%, please note that 80 freshwater species have already been declared extinct. Of these, 16 freshwater species were declared extinct in 2020 alone. So this report is for the whole globe, and freshwater fish species are in danger. They are being called forgotten ones because they're becoming extinct and we are not even caring for them. We don't even know about them. Okay, so this was all the fish species that we wanted to talk about. All the fish species which were critically endangered, which were endangered, which were there in news, which were recently discovered, which were invasive. We've got so many fish species. अब सब याद रखने की जरूरत नहीं है, but if you read them 2-3 times, no, you would know that Pondicherry shark is critically endangered. You would know that whale shark is endangered and the largest fish species. In fact, the largest non-mammalian animal. You would know that the African catfish or sucker mouth catfish are invasive. So just study them. Yes, the report was only talking about freshwater fish, Shashu. Now let's talk about mussel, charu mussel, which is also an invasive mussel. So you must have seen this kind of living organism in water bodies. You must have seen that. So it's a type of mollusk. And generally, mollusks are good for nature. Good for nature in the sense, uh, if you'll take two big containers of water and dirty water, and in one container, if you will put some mollusk, and in other, you would not put anything. Within some days, you will see that both waters were dirty, but the water in which mollusk was there, that water has become cleaner. The reason is a mollusk is a natural cleaner. What it does, it takes in water and it filters, it releases rest of the water, clean water, but it filters the nutrients that it requires. In this way, it keeps on filtering and cleaning water. So mollusks are important. Mussels are important. But this charu mussel is not native to India, but has become naturalized and thus invasive. It is native to South and Central American coast and has become invasive in India. It's spreading very quickly to Kerala, and that's why it was in news. So Vembanad, Ponnai, Ashtamudi, Paravur are some wetland which have been affected by this. Probably ship hulls or larval form may, with ballast water, they may have come to India, but they are now becoming invasive to India. So mussels are good, but charu mussel, not good for us. We don't want them. Okay, now let's talk about amphibians now. Now, in amphibians, no. Till last year, I used to cover around 20-25 critically endangered species. मैं पिछले 3-4 सालों से हर बार पढ़ा रहा था, and the questions have not been asked on it. So this time I have removed it. बिना वजह मतलब 20-25 हम critically endangered ये क्या बोलते हैं हिंदी में? Frogs are called what? मेंढक. मेंढक. Yes. I'm sorry. अंग्रेज बनता जा रहा हूं मैं. So unnecessarily we were studying 20-25 frog species which were not being asked. So this time what I've done is let's only do the ones which are in news, and I've listed some critically endangered frog species. So first frog species that we want to cover, first critically endangered frog species that we want to cover is Doria's form nesting tree frog. So this tree frog has been found after 100 years. After 108 years. It was last seen 108 years ago. So its numbers are very less, but they are not extinct in wild. Dobara mila hai, so they are critically endangered. Now, its name, Doria's form nesting tree frog. So it produces form to protect its eggs. It is nesting, that is, it makes nest for its eggs, and it can also change its color. So this frog, Doria's form nesting tree frog, also known as Chirizalus doria, comes from Chirizalus genus. And in this genus, with this frog, there are 14 species which are known. This frog recently was discovered in Mizoram's Pualreng Wildlife Sanctuary in June 2020. Earlier, हमने बोला ना 108 साल पहले ये दिखा था हमें. Earlier, it was seen in Arunachal Pradesh, in Tenga Valley of Arunachal Pradesh in 1920. So it's a critically endangered frog which has been seen after 108 years. Okay, I have listed some critically endangered frogs here again. But there are many more such critically endangered frog. मेरे को ROI जो return on investment दिख रहा था वो इतना नहीं दिख रहा था. In giving you details about like where is Amboli bush frog found, what are its key features. Perhaps doing this would have been an overkill. That's why I have not done it this year. There are some other recently discovered frogs. There is one Rohanix eleus. This is a new frog genus which has been identified in Andamans. तो जैसे पूछा गया था ना 2016 में where was this banana species found, ऐसे ही आपसे पूछा जाए कि Rohanix eleus, a new frog species, where is it found? You should be able to answer Andamans. The 2016 banana species was also found in Andamans. Anyways, this is again important because it's not a new species only, it's a new genus, Rohanix genus, which has been identified. So this is a new genus of tree frog, Rhacopheridae. The first tree frog species. So the first this was first reported from Andaman, and the species common name is striped bubble nest frog. So species name is common name is striped bubble nest frog. Its scientific name is Rohanix eleus, and this Rohanix is a new genus. Because genus is new, so species is also new. And this genus has been found in which family? Rhacophoridae family. Rhacophoridae are species of tree frog. It has been called Rohanix after a taxonomist, a Sri Lankan taxonomist, Rohan Pethiyogoda. Yagoda. So this species has been named after it. Okay, now we're done with amphibians also. Let's come to some insects and all. So we'll first start with butterflies. Butterflies which were there in use. So first of all, we have three contenders for the status of national butterfly. Currently, we do not have a national butterfly in India. We have a national animal, we have a national aquatic animal, we have a national bird and all, but we do not have a national butterfly yet. So, a citizen poll was conducted by National Butterfly Campaign Consortium between September 10 and October 8, in which around 60,000 votes were given. Citizen poll में these three butterflies, Krishna peacock, Indian jezebel, and orange oak leaf. These three butterflies have got highest vote. Now, Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change will determine that among these three, which should be declared India's national butterfly. But अभी ये तीनों contention में है. So Krishna peacock, India jezebel, orange oak leaf. See, butterfly पे ऐसे क्वेश्चन नहीं आएगा तो ऐसे आ जाएगा. Like they'll give you three names and they'll say these are names of which species? Species of what? Of birds, of animals, of butterflies, of mosquitoes. इस तरह से क्वेश्चन आएगा. तो knowing these names are important, or the question may specifically be about these species. तो कृष्णा पिकॉक के बारे में कुछ जानते हैं. Krishna peacock is found in Himalayas. Krishna black, you can look at its color. So it's a flagship species for biodiversity conservation and is generally found in large numbers in Himalayas. Then we have Jezebel. This Jezebel is known for its exotic colors. And जो bright colors है ना, it uses these bright colors to get rid of predators also. Its flashy wings, it uses this flashy wings to throw away predators. Then they are also considered soldiers of farmers. This Indian Jezebel are considered soldiers of farmers. They're considered soldiers of farmers because they eat a lot of parasites which may be affecting various crops and thus are very important. Then there is this orange oak leaf. Orange oak leaf is interesting. Though it's beautiful in color and all, but what happens is if it wants to hide itself, it will be lying on the ground like a dry leaf and you will not be able to recognize it. So orange oak leaf, they're commonly known as dead leaf for its ability to camouflage as a dry autumn leaf while striking a stationary pause. Okay, they're found in northern Western Ghats, central northern and northern eastern parts of India. This is also one of the contender for the national butterfly thing. Now, this dead leaf or oak leaf is also known to exhibit polyphenism. What is polyphenism? Polyphenism is changing your color as per the season. मौसम के साथ रंग बदलते हैं. So in wet season they'll have a different color, in dry season they'll have a different color, and so this is the phenomenon of polyphenism. Okay, there are some other birds which were in news. One is golden birdwing. Golden birdwing is India's largest bird. Now, 88 years ago, 89 years ago now, because this news is of 2019, 89 years ago, golden birdwing was considered India's largest butterfly. But southern birdwing का एक unknown specimen was identified in 1932 by Brigadier William Harry, which had a wingspan of 19 centimeter or 190 millimeter. And for last 88 years, it was the southern birdwing which had the status of the largest butterfly in India. But recently, a female golden birdwing was found to have a wingspan of 19.4 centimeter, and thus this butterfly has again, golden birdwing has again become India's largest butterfly. Golden birdwing. The question can be very as simple as golden birdwing किस चीज का species है? You should know that it's a butterfly species. You should know that it's the largest butterfly species in India. Then we have striped hair streak and elusive prince. Two butterflies which were not known from India earlier have been found in India. So they're not new species. These species were there already in other parts of the world, but not in India. Now they have been found in India also. That's why we are saying that striped hair streak and elusive prince have been added in India's list of butterflies. So these butterflies were found in Arunachal Pradesh. First, striped hair streak. Striped hair streak is generally found in China and Myanmar wale region mein. In India, it has been found in Vijayanagar region of Arunachal Pradesh bordering Myanmar. Similarly, elusive prince. Elusive prince has a Vietnamese connection, and it is named after Tonkin in Vietnam, a place called Tonkin in Vietnam, and that's why its name is Rohana tonkiniana. In India, it was found in Namdapha National Park. And this is the third species of genus Rohana. This Rohana genus ka third species which has been found in India. We already have two species, black prince and brown prince. Now we have elusive prince. So black prince, brown prince, butterfly species were already there. Elusive prince has been found in India in Arunachal Pradesh for the first time. So now we have three species of butterflies in India. Three species of this Rohana butterflies in India. With these discoveries, India now have more than 1300 species of butterflies. Similarly, there's another butterfly, zebra skipper. Now, this zebra skipper was also found in Rajasthan for the first time, or in India for the first time. This is a butterfly. The zebra skipper butterfly is very small butterfly. It's difficult to identify. In India, it was not found. It was found in Pakistan, in POK, Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, and Punjab province of Pakistan. But recently, it was observed from the Fulwari Ki Nal Wildlife Sanctuary and Sita Mata Wildlife Sanctuary in Rajasthan. तो देखो यहाँ पे हमने क्या बोला? India has 1327 species of butterfly. This happened in July 2020. Then in October 2020, this new butterfly species was found. So India has 1328 butterfly species. So you should roughly know that India has 1300 butterfly, more than 1300 butterfly. That would be enough because हर month एक दो नए butterfly मिलते रहेंगे, and this number will keep changing. This number will keep going up. In August 2020, in Mathiran is a place in Maharashtra here. After a long gap of 125 years, scientists have found 140 rare species of butterfly, including 77 new ones. Now, please note, here we are not saying that new species माथेरन में पहली बार मिल गए, इस बात को समझते. Okay, so these species were found. This survey was done in 2019, and thus उसके कुछ details मैंने दिए हैं, पढ़ लीजिए एक बार. But 2 साल पुराना हो गया, तो do not have to remember each and everything about the survey. Then another news from 2019 which I have added is about the butterfly Tamil yeoman. Tamil yeoman has become the state butterfly of Tamil Nadu. It had become state butterfly of Tamil Nadu in August 2019, and thus was in news. In Tamil Nadu, it is known as Tamil Marwan, meaning Tamil warrior. So Tamil Nadu not only have a state butterfly, it has a state tree called Palmyra, it has a state flower called Glorissa lily, it has a state bird emerald dove, it has a state fruit jackfruit, it has a state animal Nilgiri tar, and thus now it has a state butterfly also called Tamil yeoman. Then in 2019 only, a 3-day survey for butterflies in Wayanad Wildlife Sanctuary was held, and in that survey, Wayanad Wildlife Sanctuary, all the 4 forest ranges were covered, including Muthanga, Tholapeti, Kurichiyad, and Sultana. And a number of butterflies, 191 species of butterflies were found here, of which 12 are endemic. Some of these butterflies included brown onyx, common three-ring, peacock royal, Tamil lacewing. So these names, know these names, so that a question like last year, 3-4 नाम दे देंगे और बोलेंगे किस चीज का species है. If you know these names a bit, if you have read these names a bit, then chances of identifying those type of or marking those answers correct in exam would increase. 3 of the species, silver forget-me-not, common three-ring, and brown onyx, were recorded for the first time in this wildlife sanctuary. So diversity, though was low, it was mostly because of invasive plants like Sena spectabilis, which had impacted this area. There's another of 2019 news where it was found that in Sikkim, because of organic farming, the population of butterflies have increased. Butterflies like iconic butterflies like Keshere Hind was found in the species which are found in Sikkim, and the study showed that the number of butterflies increased with organic farming. So it has also broken a misconception that agriculture and butterfly population do not go hand in hand. They go together, but chemical fertilizers जहां आप use कर रहे हो, chemical pesticides जहां use कर रहे हो, their butterflies would suffer. If you are going by the organic manner, butterfly population would improve, butterfly population will do better. Okay, so these were some butterflies which were there in news over the last 2 years. We have covered them all. Let's hope if UPSC asks a question related to butterflies, you would be able to answer them. Now, some other fauna things like invertebrates में आ जाते हैं. Vertebrates तो हमने देख ही लिया, mammals and all. Invertebrates में there are some other animal kingdom things that we should know about, which were in news. One is spider cricket. Achha, Mohit has asked a question, sir, about zebra skipper. You have written it's found in Rajasthan, and you have explained that it was found in Pakistan only. Beta, zebra skipper so far was known only from Pakistan, but it has now been discovered in India, and that is why it was in news. Okay, दोनों चीजें हैं. इससे पहले उसे पाकिस्तान वाले रीजन में मिलता था या पीओके में मिलता था, इंडिया में नहीं मिलता था. But now in Rajasthan for the first time it has been found, and that's why एक न्यूज था हिंदू में कि पाकिस्तानी butterfly has been given an Indian tag. Now we can say that it's an Indian butterfly because it's found in India. This kind of news was there a few days back. एक Chinese grasshopper और एक पाकिस्तानी butterfly के बारे में. Okay, now let's talk about spider cricket. Mohit has understood it. Let's talk about spider cricket. We know about cricket, not the cricket that we play, the game that we play. Cricket during monsoon season. I haven't seen that in Delhi, but when I was in Kota, no. a lot of these crickets used to be around us. तो क्रिकेट्स जो छोटे इंसेक्ट्स होते हैं ना, जो मानसून में बारिश के टाइम ग्रुप्स में आते हैं, or do you all understand cricket? Let me show you an image of cricket. Yes, I'm sorry, I'm not able to type anything now. I do not know about the technicalities here. तो क्रिकेट, आई होप एक बार आप सब लोग अभी बैठे हो ऑनलाइन, गूगल कर लो कि क्रिकेट क्या होता है, हाउस होल्ड क्रिकेट. तो when you look at the image now, you'll understand which insect I'm talking about. बारिश के टाइम आ जाते. Just do it once. All of you Google it once. I'll also. So मैंने अपना फोन भी ऑफ कर दिया है. So, and let me know once you're done कि हाँ, you understand what cricket is. Jhingur, yes. Bhavani has given the right name, Jhingur. The Hindu में उसे झिंगूर बोल रहे होते हैं in some parts of the country. Jhingur. So that is cricket. That is normal household cricket. There are yeah done guys. Okay. So Jhingur or the household cricket is something that we know about. Recently, a new subgenus has been identified under the genus Arachonomimus Ciosure. This subgenus, तो पहले इस जीनस की बात करते हैं, Arachonomimus Ciosure. This is a genus of cricket that was first identified in 1897. Under this genus, cricket that resembles spiders are covered. See, Jhingur do not look like spiders, but there are some crickets which will have many legs. Look at this cricket, the image which is there in your notes. It has many legs and all. It will appear like a spider. So under this Arachonomimus ciosure, under this genus, cricket that resembles spiders are included. Now, a new subgenus under this genus, Jayanti, has been identified. Now, what is this new genus? This new subgenus was found in the new cricket of this subgenus was found in Chhattisgarh's Kura cave in April 2021. It has been named Jayanti after Jayant Biswas. Jayant Biswas is one of the leading cave explorers in India, and this genus was found in caves of Chhattisgarh. This subgenus was found in caves of Chhattisgarh. Now, why is this subgenus significant? Why is this subgenus significant for us? In fact, I remember Indian Express में full explained page was there on this new subgenus of cricket. Why is this subgenus important? So to understand this, first understand this. How do you must have heard, like even your household cricket, Jhingur, they make noise by rubbing their wings. They make noise by rubbing their wings. This noise is basically a mating call. Males make this noise to attract females, to mate with them. Generally, this is what happens in cricket, and this is what happens in most of the cricket. But the Jayanti, subgenus Jayanti that has been found recently, it does not produce sound. And their females don't have ears. अगर ये sound produce भी कर रहे होते तो इनकी females सुनती नहीं. So they do not produce sound and they do not have ears. So how do they attract their females if they do not produce sound and their females do not have ears? So scientists say that perhaps they are using vibrational communication. Because they're found on cave walls, perhaps they use their tummy and hit that tummy on the wall to produce some kind of vibration. Or perhaps some other body part, they hit it on the wall. Just imagine, मैं दीवार में सिर मार रहा हूं to attract the female counterpart for mating. They do something like this. They either use their tummy, they hit their tummy on the wall, or they use their head on the wall to do this on the cave wall to create vibrations which would be heard by the female which would be observed by the female, and they'll come to you. Now, why is this important for us? They are mating like that. Why is that important for us? It is important for us because think of what kind of vibration a small cricket would be able to produce on the cave wall. What kind of vibration would a small cricket would be able to produce on the cave wall? Very like wall, rock. उसपे vibration कितना पैदा कर पाएंगे? Even if they are hitting their body, hitting their head, hitting their tummy. Just think of मैं अभी दीवार पे जाके अपना सिर मार रहा हूँ, कितना vibration produce कर रहा हूँ. The females are able to observe that vibration and understand कि भाई मेरा बंदा बुला रहा है. Females are able to understand that. So females are using, what are they using? They're using their sensitivity, or they have a vibration discovery mechanism. And this is what is important for us. We have to learn that and help in creating of devices. Deaf aid devices ban sakti hain, hearing aid devices ban sakti hain, by understanding the vibrational discovery mechanism which they use. Okay, and that's why this subgenus is specifically, JNT genus is specifically important for us. पूरा Indian Express में एक पेज था on this subgenus. Indian explained page था on this subgenus. Okay, now let's go to whitefly. Whitefly is an it's invasive in India. Look at the image which is there. These are flies. These are insects. जो आपको leaves पे मिल जाएंगे. If you go to your park, nearby park and all those places, no, you will perhaps be able to see this kind of whiteflies. These whiteflies are insects that typically feed on undersides of plant leaves. The image also tells you that plant leaves के नीचे undersides पे मिल रहे हैं. They consume that. More than 1,500 species of whiteflies are there, but in India they are invasive. Whiteflies were first reported in India in 1995, and now they are found throughout the country. Originally, they came from South America, Central America, but they have somehow entered India, perhaps imported plants के साथ या किसी भी तरीके से, but now have become a threat. There's a whitefly, Eleurodicus dispersus. It was the first reported invasive species in India. Now it's found throughout the country except Jammu and Kashmir. There's another whitefly, Eleurodicus rugiuperculatus. This was first reported in 2016 in Tamil Nadu. It is also now spread throughout the country, including Andaman and Nicobar Islands and Lakshadweep. These whiteflies have been hampering coconuts, oil palm, banana, mango, sapota, guava, cashew, etc. Recently, some control methods were being discussed. So the synthetic material are not sufficient. Like synthetic pesticides, insecticides are not good enough to control them. So some natural predators like parasitoids or entomopathogenic fungi were some things which were in news, which could be used to control these whiteflies, and thus were being discussed. Okay, then comes dragonflies. Dragonflies, dragonfly कैसे समझोगे? Dragonflies are वो helicopter जैसे insects होते हैं ना? Those are dragonflies. Let me show you an image. Oh, no, this is not the right image. This image. So I do not see it in urban areas, but I remember when I was a kid, way back in 1999, 2000, I had gone to Bihar in my maternal grandparents' place, and there these things were very common. These grasshoppers were very common, and it must be common in other parts of the other green parts of the country also. But coming back to, first we want to discuss Dragonfly Festival, National Dragonfly Festival. So WWF India, in collaboration with BNHS, launched Dragonfly Festival in 2020 to create awareness for their conservation. In August 2020, they had launched this Dragonfly Festival. Now, this festival had first started in 2018, and they are now happening every year. It happened in 2020 also. Now, dragonflies are very significant because एक तो नेचुरल इको नेचर फूड साइकिल उन सबके लिए इंपॉर्टेंट है, बट दे कंज्यूम मॉस्किटोज, मॉस्किटो के लार्वा को कंज्यूम करते हैं, एंड दस कैन प्ले वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट रोल इन कंट्रोलिंग मॉस्किटो पॉपुलेशन. इन दिल्ली यू विल नॉट फाइंड ड्रैगन फ्लाइज. इन दिल्ली आपको आर्टिफिशियल मेथड्स यूज करने पड़ते हैं टू किल ऑफ मॉस्किटोज. नाउ in 2020, because of COVID-19, this festival was held virtually, and Pantalu was the mascot in this particular festival. Kerala also had its first ever straight dragonfly festival called Thumbi Mahotsav in August 2020. So Thumbi is the term which is used for dragonfly, and Thumbi Mahotsav is something that you should know about. Now, एंट्राटोथेनिस रीलसी, जो हमने अभी जेब्रा की बात करी थी ना, द बटरफ्लाई, ऐसे ही द न्यूज आर्टिकल वाज आल्सो टॉकिंग अबाउट दिस एंट्राटोथेनिस रीलसी. इट्स अ चाइनीज ड्रैगनफ्लाई which has been for the first time found in India in the Namdapha Tiger Reserve, and that's why a Chinese dragonfly has been given Indian tag. अक्टूबर 2020 में जैसे वो जेब्रा स्किपर था, वैसे ही ये भी है. तो फॉर द फर्स्ट टाइम दिस ड्रैगनफ्लाई वाज फाउंड इन इंडिया. देन वी हैव स्कारलेट स्किमर, another dragonfly, important one that was in news in June 2020 because it displayed what is known as gynandromorphism. Gynandromorphism. We will understand what is this gynandromorphism, but first let's understand the scarlet skimmer. This is a dragonfly. Dragonfly से आपके दिमाग में एक इमेज तो बनी गई है, what we are talking about. Generally, males are typically blood red coloration. I mean, in fact, you'll get frightened of this dragonfly. Generally, you tend to play with dragonfly, but this dragonfly will frighten you because it's blood red in color. The males of this family of this species are blood red in color almost in all their body parts. Females are pale yellow in color with a dark brown thorax and legs. This is males and females are different. But recently in Thrissur, in coal wetland, we found a dragonfly of this particular species, scarlet skimmer, which was part red and part yellow. Red male होते हैं, yellow female होते हैं. But we found a dragonfly of this species which is both male and female. This phenomena is called gynandromorphism. So what is this phenomena? When an individual have both male and female tissues, they are called gynandromorphs. So this is generally viewed as a genetic aberration, and very few cases are there. For example, among dragonflies, among the Odontes, only 30 individuals from 7 families have been reported worldwide to have show this phenomena. One such reporting has happened recently in India. Gynandromorphism. Okay, that's why this dragonfly was in news. इसके बारे में थोड़ा सा पता चलती है. Then green carpenter bee, not very important. ये ऑस्ट्रेलिया का एक बी है. अभी जो ऑस्ट्रेलियन बुश फायर हुआ था ना, उसकी वजह से it was threatened, and thus was in news. It is called carpenter bee because most other bees which are not living in beehives and all, they create they find some holes on the plant tree and live on them, but they create their own hole on the tree, and that's why are called green carpenter bee. So because of bushfire, they were facing this threat of extinction, and thus was in news. The fire corals, एक बार खुद से पढ़िएगा, not very important, but for the sake of completion I've included it. They are also colonial marine organisms. Technically they are not corals, जो हम corals के बारे में पढ़ेंगे in coming classes. They are more closely associated with hydra. Okay, तो generally इसके बारे में थोड़ी basic details हमें पता होनी चाहिए कि they are derived from the scientific name is Millepora boschwania, because in this genus several small pores on the surface of these corals would be found, they're generally found in murky inshore waters and display a tolerance for siltation. Indonesia, Gulf of Sirikin, Panama, Australia, India, Indonesia, Malaysia, these are some places where it was found earlier, but abhi Indonesia, Gulf of Siriki mein hi mil raha hai. Australia, India, Indonesia, perhaps it is extinct. So illegal trade for decoration purpose is one major threat it is facing. Then coral bleaching and global warming is other thing, other major factor because of which it is suffering. Okay, so guys, this was it for today. हाँ, this was it for today. आज यहीं पे रुकते हैं. Tomorrow we will be, so we are done with fauna things. Tomorrow एक क्लास में हम floral biodiversity के बारे में थोड़ा बहुत पढ़ेंगे, where all the plant species, animal species which were there in news, वो वाली चीज पढ़ लेंगे, and then we'll move on to the other sections, laws, schemes, programs, etc. Okay, there's a chat. सर गैमेंड्रोमॉर्फिज्म रिपीट कर दीजिए. अच्छा, गैमेंड्रोमॉर्फिज्म ऐसे समझो, जिनेंड्रोमॉर्फिज्म ऐसे समझो, मैं मेल हूं, एक फीमेल है, ठीक है. नाउ सपोज एक ह्यूमन बीइंग आपको ऐसा मिले जो हाफ मेल हो और हाफ फीमेल हो. दिस इज जिनेंड्रोमॉर्फिज्म. तो अभी जो हमने स्पीसी देखा था ड्रैगन फ्लाई का, हाफ मेल, हाफ मेल्स आर जनरली रेड इन कलर, फीमेल्स आर येलो इन कलर, बट one organism was found which had one part as red, other part as yellow, and this is very rare. This is considered a genetic aberration. Among dragonflies, only 30 some individuals, not species, 30 some individuals have been found. Okay. तो वो स्टेराइल नहीं, वो स्टेराइल नहीं है. अच्छा, वो हाँ, like वैसे it will neither be behaving like male nor would it be behaving like female. Yes. Okay guys, so this is it for today. I'll see you tomorrow same time, 9:30 a.m., 9:30 to 11:30 a.m., and we'll be covering the plant biodiversity related things. Okay, thank you very much.